Okay, everything's fixed. Let's load the proper game. That's right! That's what we last left off on. Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Druid of Conquest of Elysium. It has been, for me, almost half a year since I've been able to continue this series because transferring saves of Conquest of Elysium is terrible. And this is on my home desktop, and I would have to move it to my laptop to be able to play the same game there. However, it's the start of summer for me. 3 months. 3 months is all I have to try to start and finish as many projects as possible. Preferably finish a lot of projects and then start a few new ones that I can actually take with me. However, yeah, so this type of thing, this game is wonderful in that the end game takes like exponentially long to complete. And then stuff like this happens. So, a Shade Mage has begun the construct of the Monument of Hades. Being one of the few beings in this world who basically have endless map control. I can go anywhere, I can do anything in this map except kill off the humongous death stacks that the AI just loves building. Ah, hello there. Greetings, Flare. Good to see you. Where is this Shade Mage? They're all ethereal. Why are you Satan? Well, they're right next to the barbarians. So, what I could legitimately do is I could sit here, let the Shade Mage do what he wants. Summon as many undead beings of Hades, because good luck getting through our army of cockatrices and spellcasters, which I completely forgot we had. So yeah, welcome Fridge. Let me give everyone who's new here a small overview of Conquest of Elysium. Conquest of Elysium is turn-based strategy where you're playing a civilization restricted by the character that you choose at the very beginning. I chose Druid, so most of my spellcasting resources and spellcasters and things that I really care about are the forests, herbs, and Druidland. We are, in fact, the army of the 420. So, we are attempting our best to gain dominion over Elysium. This game has had a very, very long and sordid history, and in theory, we should be overpowering everyone on the map by a factor of, oh my freaking gosh, we outnumber them. The problem is the Druid is not very good at getting really powerful individual units. He's just really good at getting like several hundred bunny rabbits to drown his enemies in. We are currently up against our 2 last living opponents, the Barbarians, and the Priestesses of Baal, god of death and destruction. Exactly. And that's what I've been attempting to do. I've been attempting to construct a humongous death stack of mages, because mages are really good at ripping apart large armies. It's just the Druid doesn't have access to good spells, so I've just been doing my best. Because, by the gods, I've been attempting to take over these southern areas, because all I personally need to do to end the game, and win it. I will be saying that in the future. All I need to do is kick the barbarians out of 2 areas. I need to kick them out of this guard tower. Possibly wizards can wipe out entire armies if they're good enough. I just need to take over this entire southern section. Because of the way this group is constructed, like this map is constructed, I can project a lot of force and power in this green belt. If you step into the green belt, my army of Leshens, and each character you see here, all these green forest creatures, all belong to me. They run around the map and kill things for me, and generally make a nuisance of themselves and prevent people from ever successfully taking this zone away from my grasp. At the same time, I also produce armies out of these forests and funnel them all into one big death ball, basically. The problem is that I don't have easy access to spellcasters, and so I can't, do the exact same to our opposition. So I'm going to go for the cheesy victories. So, what was I doing in particular last time? Oh, that's right, I was, trying to take a sneak peek at everywhere simultaneously by using the scrying orb to scry every single possible location on the map. Yeah, basically. If you try to get through this maze, your you're going to attack something, and whenever you attack something, your turn immediately ends. Or I should say, that commander's turn immediately ends. Every commander, aside from a few special cases, gets approximately 3 actions per turn. After they use up these 3 actions, they have to wait till next turn to do something else. I mean, it's this game tends to lend itself towards being cheeky-breeky incarnate, just drowning your opposition in such an insane number of dudes that there's not exactly a whole lot they can do against it. Right, you Branch Whisperwood. I forgot you existed, and that you were my Elder Druid. You know what? Let's start this off. Call a legendary being. It's a griffin. I'm depressed. What do I want to do? So I've got a Banshee here, but the Banshee is Death Incarnate. And then I've got you, which has the Dragon Scale Mail, and I need to kill this vampire. I only need to kill these things down here. Oh, sorry. Much like the remainder of Civilization-style games, there are a bunch of neutral factions. Anyone who's gray or dark purple like this are neutral. These neutral factions can kill off your dudes, but mostly they just exist to take and hold territory and prevent you from taking it. I want to kill this guy off, because as long as he continues to exist, my shepherds will keep congregating in this area, running in and dying to the Banshee, who basically has an instant kill move. And so I'm going to attempt to fix this. I'm buying herbs already. Fine, that's good enough. Griffins aren't garbage per se, it's just there are significantly better forces than what this is giving. Call legendary being... Sorry. Again, let me back up a little bit, I need to keep explaining stuff. So I said resources are determined by your commander. My commander is a druid, so we have herbs as our resource. Other factions could have resources such as fungus, sacrifices, hands of glory, actual weed, gems, trade doesn't count, and relics. Aside from that, we have a heaping helping of gold, iron, and trade as baseline resources. So... Oh yeah, I don't actually have a chat on here. Let me add that before I forget. Welcome, chat. Oh god. I don't feel like playing what is actually Hoberg's Hobbits. I don't feel like playing Hobbits because Hobbits are boring as hell to me. I like playing other factions, like Cthulhuan factions and otherwise, and I chose to play Druid because it was requested and I haven't played it before. On camera. Anyway, I'm gonna do some actions here while I continue to explain. Your force's factions will utilize their special resource for a variety of things. Most commonly, they can have a special power amongst their spellcasters called rituals, which take up actions on your main turn. They take up actions on your main turn, but you get to summon up forces that don't naturally exist in the game. For example, I made use of the spell Call Legendary Being. It has a very hefty cost, but can produce such wonderful things as rocks, which are lovely aerial siege birds. Griffins, which are they're basically bruisers. Like, griffins aren't bad. I would just prefer other things to griffins. Ents, which are ridiculously slow, but unless you're using fire on them, they're basically immortal. And my absolute favorite amongst there, and what I try to get every single time I use Legendary Being, is I attempt to get the Beholders, our end-tier spellcasters. These lovely little creatures cast a whopping 6 spells a turn from all of these possible spell lists, allowing us to do a hysterical, and I mean hysterical amount of things when fighting our enemies, because there's not a whole lot our enemies can do the moment the Beholders hit, except kill the Beholder as fast as possible. However, they're also really hard to get because I have to spend 600 herbs every time, 600 herbs every time I try to get one. I can't drown them in mice because there's multiple other combat things going on there, which I will try to get into combat and explain it when we get there. What the hell were you doing? What were you doing? Was I trying to level you up? Oh, that's right, you have the Trader's Medallion. I should give that to literally anyone else, especially someone whose goal it is to sit there. Because if he's just going to sit there and do nothing but cast spells, the Traded Medallion can belong on anyone else. There's anyone I can recruit. There's always someone I can recruit. So let's just continue to recruit more forces. The recruitment menu here, all it literally represents is everywhere you can physically recruit units. You can only recruit one batch of mainline units per location per turn. So I can recruit more people than exist in Elysium, and then simply send everything out all at once. Anything with a green highlight to them I can recruit in addition at those locations. In addition, Fridge, the other annoying thing about Elysium is that even if I wanted to, I cannot do as you describe. I can't just drown something in mice because I can't control what I summon. I can control what range of things I can summon, but something random will always answer within that range. Thus, for right now, I would love to spend those those herbs on the spells to summon the lesser things and drown something in lesser things, but I'd rather get a chance at getting a Beholder instead. I'm actually looking through right now because I'm looking for a library around here, because we have a library somewhere, because I want to upgrade some of my spellcasters to be a little bit less garbage. No, the summon mice can be directed, I just can't guarantee that I'll summon the mice in the first place. I might get something else entirely. That's what I was trying to say. God, people on YouTube are going to be so confused. But you were just playing this series a while ago. And then they look at the upload date and realize to their horror that it actually has been half a year since I've done this. No, seriously, where? I know for a fact there was a magic library somewhere. And I wanted to direct these guys to said magic library because I wanted to upgrade them. I guess I'm wrong. Oh right, you guys were here because you were to join with U-Branch? Maybe. Alright, we're gonna transfer over these two, and get ourselves the hero that we've all deserved, but never get a chance to use. I don't want to transfer units out, I actually want to transfer... What is your special relic? Gem of Concentration for combat casting's not good for you. I could toss that on someone else. You can take a batch of slingers to defend yourself and just move straight to the left, because I want you to join up with U-Branch, because we're going to go kill the Banshee and the Vampire and finally take that area out. You have your own army. Why do you have an army? Okay, I guess you were doing nothing. You can sentry for right now. We can pick you up later. Alright, nothing else is going on. Let the AI make their moves and see what happens. So Elysium battles take place in a series of rounds, starting with pre-battle rounds where siege effects and assassinations can take place. Then it goes based on unit initiative, and those units can make movement based upon how fast they can move and what attacks they can make from that point forward. If their initiative is higher, they make their attacks first, obviously. They can make a number of attacks equal to the amount of attacks shown in the combat screen, which I can highlight for you right here. Our Forest Shepherds, amongst beings of Elysium, for frame of reference, a basic human which you can summon in groups of 5 for 50 gold, gold of which you can get hundreds of gold per turn later, so humans aren't that expensive to get, has 10 hit points, no armor, low morale, and low magic resist. These forces, when put together, our Forest Shepherds are like mid-tier units that we can summon in bulk, but we can't control them. And so here they are, attempting to take on the Hades group for us. This Shepherd, when he gets into melee combat, casts Entangle and punches people with a fist that deals 9 damage minimum every single time, unless he misses. He is also resistant to piercing damage, resistant to blunt damage, is stupid, meaning we can't control him by any commander, and has a vulnerability to fire. The statue, the monument to Hades, doesn't actually do anything, but the longer it lives, the more undead abominations will come forth. This Shade Mage, all he's doing is just going to be casting dark spells against us, which will eventually kill us off. But damn it, we're going to try. Currently, our Forest Shepherds simply cannot break through their front lines, because our Forest Shepherds have the ever so lovely issue of they're too fat to go through these walls. So we are currently going to suffer. We are going to suffer as... There we go. I was trying to remember the hotkey to speed up the battles even more. We just can't punch through these guys because of their innate traits. So these Shade Beasts aren't really strong, except for the fact that they're ethereal. Ethereal beings have a 75% chance to resist all the damage of non-magic attacks. Meaning, these beasts, even though they don't do a whole lot, can effectively stonewall our Forest Shepherds indefinitely. So this is a problem that my character is probably going to have to step in here to deal with himself, because Jesus Christ, why do I have to deal with all these undead all the time? I just want to be in the forest, controlling my own things, and instead, here I am, dealing with an endless horde of the dead. Thankfully, forest shepherds don't really matter because I get them for absolutely free over time just because of the high level that my spells are at. And so I can just kind of sit here and let my guys do their own thing, because even if I lose like 3 or 4 forest shepherds, I'll have like 10 more by the start of next round. And I can continue to try to drown people in bodies. Priests of Baal and the forces of the Barbarian are all attempting to fight each other off, and just moving around capturing stuff against my better will and judgment, or ability to stop them, rather. I don't even know how we can see these battles, but it's nice to see them happen every once in a while. There's no reason to watch that fight, that's just dead instantly. Dead instantly. Maybe not as dead instantly as you'd think. Because once these guys' front lines collapse... Okay. It is pretty dead, but we still killed off all their front line. I yearn for the day that a messenger raven actually successfully kills something and becomes a deity amongst ravens. Other combat things to consider are the effects of poison, which deal damage per turn, giant-sized creatures just being able to shove others out of the way whenever they attack, and so on and so forth. Did we just kill a Shade Mage? I think we did. What were you doing? Wait a minute. You have 240 units. That's right! I had you do nothing but summon little things, so I actually do have that horde of rabbits I was talking about. And then in this horde of rabbits, I think I actually have an old weapon master who's training these guys. I can't believe I forgot this. I think. Do I have an old weapon master somewhere? No, there's no old weapon master. Well, you're funny enough that I'm just going to tell you to repeat ritual and continue to do more minor animal summonings until the end of time. You dig? You dig. Good. We're gonna step through here, transfer over the Berenstein bears and the deer, and then we're gonna continue to head south. You guys can continue just discovering stuff. Maybe you'll spot something that could be potentially useful to me at some point in my life. If I knew hotkeys, I would do hotkeys, but I don't know hotkeys. Your only goal in life is messenger crows, and just keep spamming messenger crows. If you do anything different, there's something wrong with you. Your goal in life is also messenger crows. Just keep spamming them and drowning people in messenger crows over here, because I want to keep capturing stuff and preventing them from doing anything with their lives. We've already scryed the vast majority of Elysium, and there's not a whole lot left for us unless we want to start plundering the secrets of other realms. However, it's always interesting to see what could have been and see just how much of the map I can reveal to myself before I'm done. Shaggy! So I'm choosing to pronounce your name. Don't wear it out. I need you to go pick up some troops, because you basically have nothing aside from a little bit of a front line. So take the bear and the giant deer. There's not going to be a whole lot of action going on because I'm just trying to set myself up to actually properly end the game. But that's significantly harder than it sounds, or looks. Because in addition to all other problems that I have no natural native access to siege units, beyond spending an absurd number of herbs to try to summon rocks in order to use as my siege units. So here I am, trying my heart out to find something to actually break these sieges before me. I think these blue caps... Aside from the demonic sounds, those blue caps have the effect of whenever they cast their poison spell, they also put the opponent to sleep, which shepherds aren't immune to, nor are they resistant to poison. I find it really weird, but you know what? That's just what we're dealing with today. But yeah, in spite of the shepherd's track record, which their track record is not high at all, like they tend to die relatively frequently, but there's just so many of them by the end game that what are they gonna do? Like, honestly. Right, the float cat horrors here, because they feed on life with life drain, they can go above their max health, so good luck killing them with anything less than a dedicated spellcasting army. It hurts. Number of poisons, much? Right, anyway, so here we are, attempting to put an end to this game. The only real way to beat the AI in this situation is to either somehow get so many, and I repeat, somehow get so many forces together that you can overwhelm them by sheer amount of armies, which I'm kind of working towards, but much more reasonably, you can actually get a win on a faction by destroying all their means of reproducing their forces. So, my goal right now is to A, capture any building that allows me to produce troops, just so I can hold on to it and defend it, and my forces won't go dying trying to claim those buildings, because every time they do that, there are less forest shepherds to go down here, down south. Because the way forest shepherds kind of work is that stupid units tend to hang around a region that they spawn in. If there are enough stupid units in that region, they'll start moving away from it. And because there's just barely enough forces, such that my forces keep dying on them because they're invincible or something similar, I'm just kind of trying to get my forest shepherds to stop dying on them and actually go out of their way to take on more important stuff. Yeah, best explanation. There's also an alternate win condition, but it literally requires me being lucky beyond belief and having a ancient forest here, and if there is an ancient forest there, I will consider that a victory and series over, although I'm reasonably certain that that area does not have an ancient forest and I can't do anything with that zone. Only reason I care is because I can teleport to ancient forests, and in the event that there happens to be an ancient forest in this territory here, which again, highly unlikely, but if there is one, I can put myself in a position where I physically cannot, under any circumstances, lose the game. If I can put myself in that situation, I will consider that a win, because early to mid-game Elysium is fun. There's a lot of back and forth battles and coming up with plans on the fly that you would use in an attempt to, well, conquer Elysium, I guess, is the best way to put it. But you're basically slinging spells and relying on luck to carry yourself ahead. Endgame Elysium, it's obvious when someone is probably going to win, but it's really hard to put into practice because the AI just can sit in an area and stay there basically indefinitely, preventing you from doing just about anything with that zone. Like, the AI has a nasty habit of entrenching right on the spot. And there ain't a damn thing I can do about it. Well, I'm so happy that these creatures are coming into Elysium. I am thankful that the horrors show up en masse when I'm not playing the Cthulhu faction. The other lovely benefit of scrying is that even though I can't control where I scry, I can still... Wait. Can I just... Oh, okay, so this is the Nexus, the Elemental Planes Nexus. I guess my other alternative objective, if I wanted to, is I could force myself into the Elemental Plane and claim that, and if I can claim that, I would also have about a victory, because good luck removing just about anyone from the Elemental Plane if they have easy access to get there. Anyway, down south we go, U-Branch. We'll continue to march on, and maybe pick up a lot more wolves, and otherwise to bolster our armies. So it's gonna be dumb. There is actually a reason why I'm not going after this Float Cat Horror Castle. In spite of their boosted hit points, in spite of their max levels represented here, max level being 4 based upon experience, which does boost their statistics, just not much. In spite of their life drain, they can accumulate battle wounds. Battle wounds cannot be healed by any means aside from being an immortal being or having regeneration. Even if these guys can drain my character's life, they can still die by simply aggregating enough wounds that we can walk up and one-shot them. Which any attack, no matter how much health you're at, has a chance of causing a permanent wound. So I have significantly less problems fighting Float Cat horrors than you might think, because eventually, after like a couple hundred years, these Float Cat horrors will be cleaned up. Now, it might take forever, but we have forever, as you can clearly see. So, barbarians are attempting to take a guard tower from the Temple of Baal. I am very curious to see how that turns out. I'm not going to bother watching fights that are obvious victories or losses. This is not obvious. I think the bear... Yeah, the bear loses. Their Alpha Strike potential is just extremely high. Again, the other nice thing about having all these minor summons around the map is that eventually these guys just can't do anything. They'll just walk in there, and they won't be able to move. Wait, what? Hold on, ladies and gentlefolk. You have piqued my interest.